Today, I want to share with you today about Microsoft's Business Performance Analytics tool, commonly referred to as the BPA, and how it can help your organization gain insights into your data. In our increasingly data-driven world, the ability to analyze and interpret data effectively is crucial for making informed business decisions. BPA involves the use of data to measure and improve the performance of an organization. In today's session, we will briefly explore what BPA is and then look at the different tools and techniques for the out-of-the-box solution and the different ways in which you can customize the BPA. I'm excited to share this time with you, and I hope your takeaway from this is to begin investigating what the BPA can do for you. Thank you for joining me today. Now, let's dive into the world of business performance analytics. What is the BPA? Well, Microsoft says that BPA is a powerful solution designed to transform your organization's data into actionable insights. It seamlessly integrates with Microsoft Dynamics 365, Dataverse, and Power BI platforms to provide a scalable and unified approach to analyzing operational and financial data. This enables businesses to streamline operations, enhance performance, and drive better business outcomes. The BPA transforms raw data into actionable insights that drive business growth and efficiency. It can consolidate financial and operational data across departments for better monitoring and identification of areas of improvement. It is built on the Microsoft trusted cloud infrastructure, ensuring that your data is protected through advanced security measures. And the BPA is customizable and can adapt to the specific needs of your business and scales as you grow. But before we dive into the demonstration, which is going to be the majority of what we look about here, I want to first talk about the data model itself for just a minute. The data model itself that the BPA has is a fact and dimension table setup. And our fact table is a central table, and it is our quantitative data for analysis. Think of the key terms you might want to think of is metrics and or measures, stuff like sales revenue, purchase order count, that type of quantifiable information that you can get from your data. And then when we look at dimension tables, these tables are descriptive attributes that are related to our facts. These can be textual or categorical data, stuff like product name, customer information, that type of thing. And how they have it set up within the BPA is in a star schema. And the reason they have this set up as a star schema is because Power BI is the front end visualization of this. And Power BI works best and prefers when you have a star schema. And by star schema, we mean that we have our fact table in the middle here, and then we have our dimension tables that branch out from the fact table. Hence the name star schema. We have the middle of the star, and then we have our points on the star, which are dimension tables. And so all the different fact tables will have different dimensions that will connect to it. And we'll be able to take a look at that here in just a minute when we actually dive into looking at the system. Okay, so again, data model that it uses is a fact and dimension table star schema because Power BI likes to processes that better than any other. You can branch out to a snowflake schema if you'd like, but it prefers the star schema, and that's going to give you, generally speaking, that's going to give you better performance. How do we customize the BPA? Well, the first thing is we need to understand the model. Not only do we need to know that it has a star schema, but how they help us with that is there's an actual documentation report that is part of the standard BPA reports. And that documentation report will tell us which fact tables are related to which dimension tables, so we don't have to guess. We can find the ones that are related, and then from there we can build out our report or add to the existing reports that are there. Which brings me to my next point. We can customize the BPA by modifying either the existing reports that Microsoft has already set up for us as their version of the most common, or we can start our report from scratch and build it out from within the environment. Now, you might be saying, well, what if they don't have all the data that I need or all the data that I want? What if I have custom tables, or I have additional information, or I have other third-party things like leverage bolted on top of it? on top of F&O, and I want to be able to use and see that data. Well, if we connect it to Fabric, and we create that connection with BPA out to Fabric, and I will post in the link some of the documentation for that. It allows us to extend extend with our own F&O data. So if you have like leverage or any other add-ons on there, and that custom, and we can get that custom data over. We can use, if there's just data that's in F&O that is native to F&O and they just haven't put it into the model yet and you want to use it, we can extend it with that. We can also download all the PBIX files, and we can actually open that up and modify it and make customizations within the Power BI desktop itself, so we can have a little more flexibility that way. Or we use the online version of Power BI. And we can also then, because we have it, if we have extended it into Fabric, we can also create, we can use, Fabric to create and bring in additional data and do create additional facts and dimensions, and different measures, and metrics like that for us to be able to do our calculations. So let's actually go and spend the majority of the rest of our time here going through and looking at how we can actually make these customizations. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to actually go and find out, how do we get into business performance analytics with BPA? Well, we have, there's a couple different places that we can get to that. The easiest one is that if you already have the business performance analytics or the BPA already configured and set up, you should be able to, within your finance and operations homepage, there should be this business performance analytics app that we can click on. And when you click on that app, it's actually going to open up into your business performance analytics, your BPA. If, however, you have not set that up or don't have it turned on yet, it will take you out to the documentation pages that will walk you through the prerequisites that you need to have set up, and it will walk you through, and it'll give you the steps that you need to go ahead and get that. I'm also going to post that in the chat window. I'll post those links in the chat window. But if you haven't already set it up and you click on it from within finance and operations, it'll take you out to that. It'll take you out to that informational page on how to get it set up and turned on. So here's the business performance analytics, the BPA, from our main page here. You can see here I have my reports. And these are all most of these you can see here. The type is Microsoft. I have a custom one that we're going to take a look at in just a minute. But the Microsoft report ones are going to be the main ones that Microsoft has. Anytime they add new ones or put new ones out here, they will always say Microsoft. Now we can start from any one of these and decide, hey, we want to customize that, or we can end up, like I said, starting from scratch. You can see up here we have this new report window. So if I click on new report, you'll see I have the option. I can give it a name, whether I want to do Power BI, or there is an Excel add-in as well. It's not a topic that we're going to talk about today, but it's something that if you want to talk about, we certainly can. But there you can start with the report type of Power BI, and you can start from a blank report, or you can say duplicate a Microsoft report, and then tell it which one that we want to duplicate from. Okay, so first off, let's go in and take a look at one. And since I modified the purchase order one here, let's take a look at what the standard purchase order one looks like to begin with. So if we go into purchase orders here, once it opens up, you're going to see here we have our bar up top with our back arrow. We can also just click on reports to go back. We can make this a favorite. We can also, if I'm in this report and I'm looking at it and decide, hey, I do want to make customizations on this one. Notice that I don't have an edit or anything else up here. I have a details and when the last date was refreshed, but I also have this duplicate. So if I click on duplicate, it will actually make a duplicate of it, and it'll name it purchase orders with a parentheses 1 or 2 or 3 or however many you've already duplicated and created, and then we'd be able to go in and edit that one. But you can see here that it is it's a Power BI window. Okay, we have our filters. We have our slicers up top here, and you can see here for this one we have legal entity, vendor, accounting dates. I can look at my legal entities. I can look at my the vendors associated. I can look at I can pick my accounting dates from and to, my my purchase order status, okay, my approval status, number type scaled original, or my decimal places. I can go out to 4 decimal places, or I can stick down to 0 decimal places, okay? And you also have this filters pane here. Though on this report, there doesn't seem to be any additional filters that have been added to it. And so then here now we have a card here, and we have a couple of different bar charts there. And then we have just a matrix down here that we can then expand on these different items and get down to our different details. You can see every time I expand it out, I have currency, legal entity, vendor account name, PO number, status, approval status. And I can keep getting down farther to down to the nitty gritty of the information that's been added on this particular report. Okay, so this would be the main one. If I want to get back to if I didn't want to duplicate this one, if I wanted to go back and look at the other ones, I can hit the arrow, or I can click on reports, and now I'm back here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the one that I have. I don't think I've added anything to it yet, but let me look at the purchase order one for Sleeper. You'll notice the difference being is that it looks like the other one. It started like the other one, and if I do select all, you can see here that my numbers look the same as I had before on the other one. I still have my 2 legal entities, the different vendors. The difference being, if you look up top here, I have a delete, so I can delete this report, edit. I can duplicate this report if I want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edit. Now, if I go into edit, you'll see that I have the Power BI kind of edit window where I can mess with I can add filters for the page, on all pages. I can change the visualization types. So if I select here, and I don't want this to be a matrix, I want to change it to, some sort of pie chart or something else, I can absolutely do that. I'll change one of these here real quick. I'll just change that to a pie chart, okay? And so you can also see here, we have our entire data model over here. So you have all the metrics that Microsoft has created. We have different parameter fields, and then everything that starts with a dim is our dimensions. And if we come down here, everything that starts with a fact is all of our facts. You can see I can bring in any other additional facts or dimensions that I have here. But what if I don't know if it is related to it or not? Now I'm looking at purchase orders. Now, if you remember, I said a little bit ago there is a documentation. There's documentation reports. Let's go back to reports real quick. It's the third one right here called documentation. I'm going to select on and go into my documentation report. And you can play around this and you can look at the measure glossary. It tells you how the different measures are calculated. You can look at it based off table mapping. So you can link your D365 FNO table and column name to it. What I wanted to show you is that one of the first easiest things you can do is that we have this matrix where we have our facts on the rows and we have our dimensions on the columns, and wherever you see an X, that's where they intersect. So we know that that has items that connect to it. So if I'm looking at my purchase orders here, I can see that my purchase order facts, I can use currency dimension, date dimension, delivery method, delivery postal address. But if I don't want to have to scroll through and look at the whole thing, I can filter up here on my facts and say, okay, let's look at purchase order. So now it filters it down to showing me purchase order and all the different dimensions that I can attach to my purchase orders. And one of the dimensions that I can have, one of the additional dimensions that I can have on here is my selling party and my storage location. So if I want to see the warehouse or storage information about where, that's how I want to customize my one, I'll go back to my reports here. I'll go into my purchase order sleeper. And I will click on edit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my matrix here, and I'm going to expand this out a couple so that I have vendor account name here. And then PO number, remember that? Actually, let's just go back to vendor account name. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start typing in selling party. So here's my dimension selling party, and that was one that was connected to it. So I could bring in, oh no, we said we're going to do warehouse. Well, we'll do selling party. Okay. So if I have my selling party, okay, I can bring in, let's say, contact email, and I'm going to drop that right below vendor account. So now if I extend that, I don't have an email on, that one or on that one. So let's get rid of that. Let's go back and let's look at warehouse stored dim storage location. So storage location. So dim storage location, let's actually get rid of contact email, and let's now bring in warehouse. So I have two warehouses. I have warehouse 11 and warehouse 13. And if I look at 11 and 13, I can see that warehouse 11 has serviced this vendor account, and warehouse 13 has sent whatever was going to this vendor account. So now I've added that. Now I've added that on there. If I didn't want to add it there, if I just wanted to have it as a filter, what I could do is I'm running out of a little bit of space up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and remember I turned that into a pie chart. So I'm just going to then add a quick slicer in there, and I'm going to use my warehouse as my slicer. And I believe 11 and 13 were the warehouses that I have. So now if I hit that slicer, there we go. So warehouse 11, I'm not seeing anything there. So let me go down here and pick warehouse 13 as well. Hold down control and select it. So now I have warehouse 11 and 13. If I don't like that this is a list, again, this is Power BI, so I can come in here and change it from a list to a drop down. And now I have a drop down that I can select from. So I'm going to do 11 and 13. And so now I've filtered down to the warehouses that I want, and I can clear it and I can change it. I can, do all the different type of modifications that you would normally do in Power BI. And then I can save this. And now I'm back out of the edit screen. And so now all the changes that I've made are now on here. So if I change this back to select all, now you can see I have my, my open orders, my received, and my invoice, and it looks like I had set it up, right? So here's me making that customization from here. Okay, so that's doing customizations within the BPA itself. Now, if we go ahead and we extend this into Fabric, so I'm going to go out to my Fabric instance here. Now and I will put in the chat. I will put the different links and everything that you'd need to kind of start getting down this row. But in order to extend it to Fabric, you'd have to have Fabric capacity turned on and set up and connected with your Dataverse and with your and your F&O. But from there, then we can end up turning on and linking to Fabric. Actually, if we come over here, and I believe if I go to the administration home, it should show me the link with Microsoft Fabric. I have managed because I've already connected it, but you'd see one here that says go ahead and add that connection there. And you can also start dealing with some of the other security. I mean, today we're not going to jump into the security. If you want help with that, I'm going to certainly put the links in the windows so that in the chat so that you can get those as well. So I'm going to go back to my Fabric instance here. So here's my Fabric. So if I look at my workspaces, here is my Dataverse connection with BPA back there. And then what I've done as well is I've created then because I want to connect it with additional F&O information. I've actually created a separate warehouse that is just for my BPA, and I have two separate data flows here. This is me getting my data from the BPA after I've set this all up to connect BPA out to Fabric. And again, that's something that we can help you with. Or again, I'm going to put that information in the chat window so that you can have those. So you have those links, and then I'm bringing in my additional data from there. So to make this make it just a little bit simpler, you'll see here I've only brought over one fact table, and then 6 different dimensions that I know are related to this purchase invoice fact table. Okay, closing out of that, and then I have another data flow that brings over. I brought in the event dim, sum, event table, module, and trans, and I'm sending them all over to my warehouse that I've created within Fabric. And so if I look at all my tables here, you see here now I have my different dimensions, and I know they're from BPA because they're labeled DMO underscore, and then my different facts and dimensions, and then my invent dim, sum, table, module, and invent trans that I brought over from my F&O instance because I want to extend it to be able to use one or more information out of those different tables. Then from here, I created a semantic model. And I'll go back and show you that semantic model. So I have my semantic, I have the default one here, but I don't like to use the default one. I like to create my own semantic models. So I created a semantic model from there. So here you can see what my data model looks like. So right now I have the purchase invoice fact table. I have my different dimensions. So again, this is that star schema. So I have my fact in the middle, and I have my dimensions around it. And you can see here, I created a view for my invent table within the warehouse. And now I have that linked, and it's I have name alias and then product key connected to it. And then from here, all you have to do is either create a new report, or we can go out here and see do I have, nope, I don't have one connected. I don't have one created. So from my semantic model, I'm going to go to File, Create New Report. And then I can come through and choose the different fact and or dimension information that I might want. I'm going to add in the purchase invoice line amount, and you can see here that it's we're in Power BI, so I can change the type of visual that I want to use. Okay, I'll start with the bar chart there, and then I can bring in different dimensions. Okay, I might want to bring in the ledger. So basically the account that I want to use, right? The ledger account that I want to see. Okay, I can use my accounting dimension. Okay, I can create a filter or a slicer for my accounting date. And again, this is Power BI, so I can come in here and change the change that to a slicer. And so now it's a slicer, and I can decide what dates I'm pulling my information from. Okay, but now let's bring in, these are all the other ones. So let me bring in my the VW invent table new that I had created, and I use product key as the join. So this is going to be my dimension information that I actually want to see is the name alias. Oops, put that on the wrong thing. So I'm going to come back to my report and put my name alias on in the legend. So I'll get rid of the ledger information, bring name alias up, and switch this to a pie chart because that'll look a little bit better. So you can see that I've, I mean, if you want to use Fabric and you want to get into it and you're not sure where to start and everything, give us a call, let us know. We can help you with that. But I went very quickly through the Fabric information just to kind of show you that yes, you can connect it out through there, and then you can create your create your visuals and everything from there. From there after it, and do whatever different building. The nice thing about doing it in Fabric versus doing it in the actual BPA is that, again, if I look at this purchase order sleepers and I go in and edit it, you can see here that it has all the dimensions and all the facts in there. Well, if you don't like if you don't like that, you don't want to be able to do that, what you can do, because I have it in Fabric, is now I've been able to focus it down to, okay, just the fact and the few dimensions that I want to bring in. And how I decided which ones to use here is I went back out to my reports here. I went through my documentation and found the different fact and dimensions the different dimensions that were related to my purchase invoice fact here. So you can create those, you can look at that and then be able to create a more targeted data set, so you don't have, again, it's another layer of being able to control security, is by, hey, this is a targeted semantic model, and that I don't have potentially all the data that can be visualized within here. I just have it down to these few that I actually want to use. So what do we do next? Well, if you have questions on how to install and get and look at the different prerequisites and everything that are out there, if I haven't already done it, I should be putting those in the link or in the chat right now, so that you have those links to be able to install that. I'm also going to put in there links to the configuring and dealing with the security that's in there. And as always, if you have any questions, if you need any help getting the BPA set up, if you need help getting it, getting it configured or working right, please reach out. And we are the Data Insights team. We're happy to help you get that configured and set up and working, so that you can better utilize your data.